Hello and welcome to Pushing Back, Ukraine Daily Brief. As the war enters its 848th day, these are the main developments from the past 24 hours. Russia has lost approximately 531,980 troops in Ukraine since the beginning of the war, the General Staff of Ukraine's armed forces reported. The number, which has not been independently verified, includes 1,080 casualties over the past day. According to the released Ukrainian figures, Russia lost 14 tanks, 35 armored combat vehicles, 54 artillery systems, 1 multiple launch rocket system, 2 air defense system, 1 cruise missiles, 47 vehicles and 10 pieces of special equipment. Romania will provide a Patriot system to Ukraine. The Supreme Council of National Defense of Romania decided to donate a Patriot air defense system to Ukraine. 8,000 Russian tanks have been destroyed since the full-scale invasion. The update from the General Staff of the Armed Forces of Ukraine. The enemy launched 128 combat clashes. The Russians carried out 36 airstrikes including 50 anti-aircraft missiles on the territory of Ukraine. They also used 373 kamikaze drones and carried out 2,634 attacks on the positions of Ukrainian troops and settlements using various types of weapons. In its latest intelligence update, the UK's Ministry of Defence reports Putin is exerting more control over its economy, bringing some 180 companies under state control since the invasion, with a likely worth of approximately $11.5 billion and redistributing assets to Kremlin-aligned business people. In its latest intelligence update, the Institute for the Study of War. Russian President Vladimir Putin launched a major information operation during his recent visit to North Korea and Vietnam on June the 18th and 19th, aimed at sabotaging efforts by Ukraine's partners to clearly define a common strategic objective and strategy to decisively defeat Russia's illegal war of conquest in Ukraine. Putin implicitly threatened to use nuclear weapons if the West enables Ukraine to decisively defeat Russia in order to undermine the international community's cohering strategic vision of support for Ukraine. Putin's nuclear threat is part of an ongoing Kremlin nuclear blackmail campaign aimed at dissuading Ukraine's allies from decisively committing to defeating Russia's illegal invasion of Ukraine and is therefore highly unlikely to result in actual nuclear escalation. South Korea responded to the Russian-North Korean Comprehensive Strategic Partnership Agreement on June 20 and stated that it will reconsider its previous ban on sending lethal military assistance to Ukraine. Russian President Vladimir Putin simultaneously attempted to downplay aspects of the Russia-North Korea agreement, potentially in response to South Korea's concerns during a June 20 press conference in Vietnam. Putin also met with Vietnamese President To Lam, Vietnamese Prime Minister Pham Minh Chinh, and General Secretary of the Central Committee of Vietnam's Community Party Nguyen Phu Trong during his visit, and discussed bilateral relations and the Soviet Union's and Russia's support of Vietnam during the 20th and 21st centuries. Russian forces used the new FAB-3000M-54 bomb with a unified planning and correction module to strike Ukrainian positions in Kharkiv Oblast for the first time, representing a new Russian capability with a high potential for destruction if Russian forces continue to be able to use such weapons uninhibited. The United States made a policy change to prioritize delivering Patriot air defense interceptors to Ukraine against the backdrop of the increasing threat of Russian-guided glide bomb use in Ukraine. U.S. policy still prohibits Ukrainian forces from striking military targets with U.S.-provided weapons in the operational and deep rear of Russian territory. The Russian military's increased over-reliance on infantry-heavy frontal assault tactics has greatly degraded the distinctions between various Russian combat services on the battlefield in Ukraine, minimizing the operational efficacy of frontline troops. Russian Defense Minister Andrei Belousov used a working visit to the Eastern Military District in Vladivostok, Primorski Krai, to create the appearance of a strict but engaged defense minister. Ukrainian forces conducted drone strikes against at least 2 oil facilities in Russia on the night of June 19 to 20. Russian mill bloggers complained that the Russian military command is failing to properly incentivize Russian servicemen to fight and explain the purpose of the Russian full-scale invasion to its troops. Ukrainian forces recently advanced near Vovchansk, and Russian forces recently advanced near Chasiv Yar, Avdiivka, and Donetsk City. In Zelensky's nightly video he spoke about 3 areas. Firstly, Ukraine's energy sector, This involved immediate government action to incentivize solar generation and energy storage, a clear plan to complete protective structures for energy facilities, and ensuring alternative energy sources for critical infrastructure. Secondly, enhancing energy independence. The focus was on creating new energy generation and decentralized capacities, as well as building new balancing and maneuverable capacities for the energy sector. Lastly, international support. Appreciation was expressed to Romania for supplying the Patriot missile system and to the EU for continuing sanctions against Russia. There were also words of thanks for a new signatory to the joint communiqué on restoring the UN Charter's effectiveness. Ukraine's First Lady, Alina Zelenska, participated in the opening of Ukraine's largest educational festival, Teachers of the Future, organized by NGO Osvitoria. The event's theme was The Power of Education in Time of War. Zelenska emphasized that teachers conducting lessons under bombardment are as crucial to the nation's defense as soldiers and rescuers. She highlighted the unique and dramatic stories of teachers, stating that they have become exemplary figures for their students. Thanks for following today's updates. Please don't forget to like and subscribe for more content. We'll return tomorrow with the latest news on the ongoing conflict.